Hello, Brett Schuhart. So, for years, Valerie Love, the first yoga instructor of mine, was trying to get me to engage my pelvic floor. For the last decade, Rick Krause, my current Tai Chi guru, has been saying, push your sternum down. And it finally has come together into something that's a recent realization. And I'm going to sort of show you what I've learned so far. This is really recent, like within the first few days of this first experience. So this is pretty raw, and hopefully it will get you sort of moving in an interesting direction. Just sort of by analog, the experience that I have now is kind of equivalent to when you start to notice the tucking of the tailbone engages the heels. I'm getting that kind of experience, but it's in a different part of my body. So the an analog here is if this is representing your hips and this is your tailbone, so your tailbone's out, you tuck your tailbone. What we're going to do now is, before we were tucking our tailbone and sort of sitting our spine, and we want to just lock our spine in. That's the action we're going to do. It turns out, as Rick describes, you go up the outside of your body, you get up to your head, and then you go down the center. So it's up and then down. And so we're going to build that up in a Tai Chi way. The same principles would apply in any kind of standing form in yoga, or even you can do some of this in plank and other such poses. But again, we talked about that in another one. Experiment and mix. So the recent experience actually involves some new stretches I've been doing that have released my thoracic spine, and as a result of that, I was starting to get an experience across my back, but also it allowed me to relax my sternum and push down the spine. So it's going to take a few steps. I'm going to break it down, and we're going to go over this in a few different angles. I start in Wu Chi, approximately, but now let's build it up. First, feet parallel as usual. Grip feet. 1, 2, knees bent. 3, tuck the tailbone. We'll see this from the side, but my weight naturally centers right over the spot behind the balls of my feet, the so-called bubbling well. So my weight has come forward. So my bottom bow, it's great. Now I'm going to work on my second bow. The second bow, the tailbone tucked, is the anchor point. I'm going to use my fontanelle and push it up. So now my second bow is actually pretty good. Problem is, here's my first bow. My second bow is sitting there, but it's not locked in. So remember, we said, Rick says, go on the outside of your body, up, 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 and then down. So we just built up. Now we're going to go down. So 1, grip with the feet. 2, knees bent. 3, tailbone tucked. 4, fontanelle up. So I've gone up the outside, and now 5, relax the arms in to release tension here. Medial rotation helps. Into the middle, medial, and then push the sternum down. I find that sometimes bare palms can help with this. Okay, that actually feels pretty good right there. It's not fully engaged, but I can tell. So here's an interesting test I've discovered. So my hand, as I naturally raise it, comes to about here. Now I'm just going to relax. If I just do this, my hand comes naturally higher because I'm loose all the way through the body, so there's no engagement. If I add the engagement of just my hip, my hand doesn't come up as high. If I can manage to keep my spinal column engaged into my pelvic floor by bringing the energy up the head and then down into the chest, then you're going to find that your hand will naturally come, or my hand naturally comes closer to my xiphoid process. So the less engaged I am, the higher the hand goes. No engagement, tailbone engagement, full locked in pelvic spinal thrust. I'm doing the time warp. So let's try that and see if I can engage and see where the hand goes. So I'll go do this from the side, and you'll also be able to see the approximate height. So right now, just let my arms go. Tucking and gripping. So remember, grip with the feet. 1, 2, knees bent. 3, tailbone tucked. Now, Watch the center of my body as I tuck my tailbone. I'm going to have to let my arms go flat. I'm generally trying not to move my body. I'm just tucking my tailbone, and I'm going to try to do it slowly. So first I'm going down, and now I'm going to tuck. So my weight naturally flew forward. I'm going to let go. I'm really not doing that. My weight naturally aligns with wherever my center of gravity is. If I put my weight forward, if I push my weight back, whew, I'm not doing that really. That's just body alignment with gravity. So when I do this, the tucking of the tailbone brings the center of my weight, that is right here, my midline here, over the feet, just behind the balls of the feet. So now I've locked in the first bow. The second thing is I'm going to extend. So the fontanelle comes up. So I'm going to compress the head a little bit, and now up. The third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to relax. Now, one way I can do this is simply turtle back. Turtle back is a form of medial rotation. It starts to suggest that. But what I'm really doing is I'm trying to relax right here so I can compress down. Now notice, oh boy, you can actually do this in a twisted orientation, and that's the first time I've done that. And that actually, ooh, that's very secure. I wouldn't do this for very long. I'm going to come back slow out of that. So, sorry for that divergent. Gripping feet, knees bent, tailbone tucked, weight naturally falls forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sternum down. Now, a couple of things you can do, a couple more things, one review and one new thing. If you want to start to get a sense of why this is important, put your hand around here and softly feel as you rotate your arm first laterally outside or medially. What you will find is right here, I can feel the movement. So there's connection from this action to right here. Now, what if I can get connection from here through tuck, extend, compress? That is how I bring the entire body and the ligament structure all the way through the body. So I start, feet parallel, gripping. Knees bent, tailbone tucked. My weight comes slightly forward. My center of gravity is more over my bubbling well. Extend the fontanelle up. Now, I'm going to try to relax my diaphragm while doing that. That pulls my chin back naturally. I can feel tension right here. Right now, the extension of my neck is causing this to be tight, so I can't possibly use my sternum to push down. So now, oh, that relaxes here. And then I'm going to check the tuck of my tailbone, fontanelle, and then relax that down. And then push the fontanelle back up. And now I've locked. This is I'm in. I can feel. It's binary right now. So if I naturally throw my hands out, they're coming out roughly exactly where I'd like them to, because I'm coming right to my xiphoid process. I'm going to let this go, even though, don't attach. Once you get that feeling, let it go, because you know what? If you can't recover it, it didn't count. That's a bit of a harsh statement. But if I just throw my arms up, I've got looseness all the way through my body, so my arms naturally have a lot more reach. But also, they're just flopping around. There's no connection with the body, so you don't have the weight of the body. And if the body isn't aligned with Earth, then the alignment of physics through the body takes flop and turns it into a real good engagement into somebody's face. So, feet, knees, tailbone, fontanelle, medial rotation down. And then, let's see if okay, actually, I'm not terribly engaged. I'm close. If I just relax, I'm here. If I tuck my tailbone, I I can actually feel right here a little bit of engagement, and that limits the height. So relax, tucked, relaxed, tucked. That's the difference between tucking. And then if I then, let's see, I'm going to medial rotate, tuck my tailbone, push my spine down. Let's see if I can do this. So that's the difference. Engaged fully, or pretty fully, relaxed, completely unengaged. And so notice, by engaging the body, the hands know what to do because they're fully connected, and the connection from the earth all the way up the body through your skeletal structure, your ligament structure, makes your body move naturally in alignment with what you're doing in the moment. So give that a try. It's pretty interesting, and once you start to get it and you try to maintain it, I mean, I'm breathing right here because I'm out of breath from doing that. I'm still new to it, but it's a very cool experience, and you can do the same thing in your yoga practice. Try that in Warrior One. It will really engage it'll engage your core quite a bit. And for you Pilates people, you're like, well, of course, that's what we do all the time. Well, sometimes it takes a little while to figure it out. Hope you give this a try. Please comment if you do. I'd really be interested if someone else could repeat this experiment. Have a great afternoon.